Oh, what is the upskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXHockeyCast. We're on episode 80. Ilya Bryzgalov, why you have to be mad? Of my little hockey show where once a week I go through all of the major news and the happenings of the NHL, mainly focusing in on the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Calgary Flames, because those are my favorite teams. But I can talk about any of the 32 teams in this league. So what's on tap for today? Well, yet another coach has been fired in the NHL. Very trendy this season. We have some crying in St. Louis and a lot of goaltending problems around the league. So let's just get into it. Let's talk about the Ottawa Senators definitely having a very underwhelming season. It's been a long wait for the Ottawa Senators fans to get back in the playoffs since their awesome run in 2017 been a drastic downhill turn ever since that happened. But there's been some optimism, a little bit, with a lot of problems on top of this optimism, and yet another situation has happened with Ottawa. It just never ends. DJ Smith has been fired as the head coach of the Ottawa Senators. So last week, it wasn't necessarily written in stone, but it was a very big red flag when Ottawa brought in Jacques Martin to be an associate to kind of help out with the problems going on with Ottawa, which, you know, in most people's eyes, that's kind of a, oh dear, that's almost the final nail in the coffin for DJ Smith's career. And then it happened. It ended really awkwardly in classic Ottawa fashion. They let DJ Smith run the practice in the morning, talks to the media, you know, with the classic kind of uncomfortableness, like, yeah, I'm probably going to get fired here, but maybe not today because I got to run my practice. I'm talking to y'all. And then they pulled him aside after the media scrum and said, yo, dog, you fired. Merry Christmas. Get the fuck out of here. So DJ Smith is gone. Some fans are going to be very happy about this. Some fans are not going to be happy about that. So I feel like it's maybe a little bit more on the side of they're glad to get rid of DJ Smith. Now, Ottawa Senators fans, you can let me know how you feel about the coaching change. Now, Jacques Martin is going to take over as the interim coach for now. And, you know, Jacques Martin, he's a very well-tenured coach. He is in his 70s now, so there is that. But he's coached like over 1,200 games. He's won over 600 or something like that. And he's coached the Ottawa Senators before. And on top of that, they're also going to have Daniel Alfredsson being on the bench. We saw that success in Sweden when they went over there. They're winning games with him on the bench. So he's going to be there as an assistant coach on the bench for the Ottawa Senators. That's going to be great. That's a good thing. I like that. Now, the Jacques Martin thing, I can't really see it being a permanent fit or something that's going to last very long because, well, like I mentioned, he is in his 70s now. So I don't know how much interest he really has in doing this full time. I don't think he minds doing it for a little bit, but there's a lot of really good coaches out there right now since everyone's been getting fired. So, you know, Craig Berube is probably the most popular option, I think, out there right now. Spit and Chicklets feels that he would be a fantastic fit for the Ottawa Senators organization. I mean, he's definitely a hard-nosed coach. Found a lot of success in St. Louis. He just got fired last week. So I don't know how fast we're going to see any of these recently fired coaches return and get a job. Like Woodcroft is out there as well. You got Craig Berube. I mean, there's some pretty nice coaches out there, like Bruce Boudreau. Is he ever going to come back ever again? But there's options out there for the Ottawa Senators, and we'll see how long it takes for them to make a decision until we start hearing that someone's talking to Craig Berube or anything like that. But I also agree. I think Craig Berube would be a really good fit for the Ottawa Senators organization. He's a very respected NHL player. He used to play. He obviously has a pretty damn good coaching run there with St. Louis. He turned that around and won the St. Louis Blues a Stanley Cup for the first time in franchise history. So he's got the pedigree. I think if Ottawa brought him in, I feel like the Senators fans would be pretty excited, probably happy about this. But then there's the other side of this. So with the players aspect, I know that Brady Tkachuk and the players were a DJ Smith guy. They really liked this coach. They really respected him. But, how much of that was just, them saying that for the cameras? Because, the proof is in the pudding. We're looking at DJ Smith's run as the coach of the Ottawa Senators, and it's been nothing but, honestly, disappointment, underwhelming performances, and again, this season, it's happening the exact same way that it's happened for quite a few years now with Ottawa. They kind of sputter out of the gate, some injuries happen, some controversies, underwhelming play, and then December comes around, and that's pretty much it for the Ottawa Senators. They've had dreadful luck in December the last few seasons, and kind of going the exact same way again, so Ottawa pulls the plug. I feel like maybe, honestly, they should have pulled the plug on DJ Smith maybe last year, maybe, I think maybe the DJ Smith experiment went on a little bit too long. Because I look at this team, the Ottawa Senators, there's so much skill here. There's so many good players, good young players, but, kind of like the Buffalo Sabres, just because you have a plethora of young players and good potential players doesn't always mean that they're going to hit that pinnacle and your rebuild is always going to be successful. So we might be looking at a failed rebuild here for the Ottawa Senators. Now, I'm not saying it's failed just yet, but you have the young players at Timmy Stützle, you got Drake Batherson, you got Jacob Chychrun here now, you have Jake Sanderson, Josh Norris. There's a lot of really good young players here, and it's just not coming together. Is it straight up goaltending? Is it, I don't know what is a lack of leadership, lack of structure? I don't know, man, but all we can determine is that the Ottawa Senators this season have underperformed yet again. Goals per game, they're 26th in the league, 3.33. That's not a bad number. Scoring 3 goals, it's not bad. Scoring is up. It's a little shocking that that's at 26, but they have been scoring goals. I feel like they were scoring more goals early in the season, and lately it's kind of drying up. Goals against has been pretty consistently not awesome. Also at a 26, 3.44 goals against per game. So, yeah, you're not going to have a lot of success when you're letting in more goals than you're scoring. Their power play is at 18.4. That's 20th in the league. It's not dreadful. Last week, we definitely looked into some of the ultra bad power plays in the league, looking at single-digit percentiles down there. So, 18.4, it's not dreadful, but it's not helping them really. And then their penalty kill has been pretty bad, 73%, 29th in the league. So yeah, those numbers are not good enough, especially in the East, very competitive, and especially in the Atlantic, which is even more competitive. And the Senators, with an 11-16-0 record, that puts them last place in the Atlantic. So that just goes to show you how tough the Atlantic is. It's not a great record, but I'm just saying, even if they do turn it around, it's a hell of a hole that the Senators have dug themselves into. They're going to have to go on an Edmonton Oiler-like run and probably keep that up for a little bit longer. Edmonton has the benefit of the doubt that the West is a little bit open still, and with the Senators, that is a lot less so. The Atlantic is closing up very quickly. They have I think they're 11 points now behind in a playoff spot. So that's, it's pretty much done. That is a massive, massive hole to get yourselves out of, but at least they're trying to do something now instead of just kind of prolonging the disappointment. If they just kept DJ Smith and say, okay, we'll throw it up as another mulligan year. It's I guess we're just not going to make it. But I don't know. It's tough, right? Because you could get the new coach bump and they win a whole bunch of games, and then that hurts their draft spot, because I honestly don't think they're going to make the playoffs even with a coaching change. They're very much so in a bad spot right now in this division, but we can look at the team stats, and all around we're kind of seeing underwhelming numbers all around. So we'll start with the goaltending. Brought in Jonas Korpisalo. A lot of people are like, oh, this could be the addition that the Ottawa Senators have been missing. They really needed a goaltender. Moving off of Gustafsson looked like, in hindsight, a very poor decision to make. They bring in Korpisalo, give him a whole bunch of money, whole bunch of term, and he's been underwhelming. Some people predicted that he would be underwhelming, and he has been. An .892 save percentage, just not good enough, well under the league average. 3.54 goals against, not good enough. Only 6 wins in 18 games played. So, yeah, that's really not good. And the last game that I just watched, who are they playing? I think it was the Pittsburgh Penguins. The last game with DJ Smith, and there was so much frustration on the ice. Sticks were breaking, players very visibly upset, and Jonas Korpisalo being one of them that I've noticed being rather temperamental throughout this whole entire season. And it's been a really frustrating year for him so far. Anton Forsberg, not really a lot better at all. 11 games, got 5 wins, which isn't horrible. 3.23 goals against average and an .876 save percentage with 1 shutout. So yeah, again, not good enough, well under league average right there. So their goaltending isn't doing them any favors. And then the players. So Timmy Stützle, put a lot of chips onto this kid this year, drafted him in multiple fantasy leagues because I thought he would be just going off this year. I thought this would be the 100-point season for Timmy Stützle. And it still could be. He's not having a bad year. 30 points in 27 games, but only 6 goals. You definitely want to have some more goals. Shooting at 7% right now, so definitely not having the luck with Timmy Stützle this year. Pucks just aren't going in for him. He's getting points, but points in December have been rather low. He had a pretty good start to the season, but it's been trailing off. Claude Giroux's been fantastic. I mean, you can't really ask for a whole lot more out of him at the age that he's at. 25 points in 27 games. I have no real problems with that right there. Drake Batherson's been pretty good. 10 goals in 27 games, 23 points. And then there's Brady Tkachuk, who has not been Brady Tkachuk this year. 14 goals in 27 games is pretty good. 21 points in 27 games isn't bad, but you're hoping for Brady Tkachuk to continue his upward trajectory, getting closer to Matthew Tkachuk, who's not having that great of a year either. But Brady, I've always seen him as he could be one of the most dominating power forwards in the game, similar to his brother, could be a 40 to maybe even a 50 goal scorer for the Ottawa Senators. I don't know if he can crack 100 points, but I think a point a game, 90, 95 points is well within his range, but not from the looks of it this season. I mean, he's throwing a lot of hits. He's shooting a lot. His shooting percentage isn't awful, but yeah, Brady Tkachuk isn't having as good of a season as he was last year. Jacob Chychrun has been fantastic for the Ottawa Senators. 21 points in 27 games. He's a -4, which it could be worse. It could be worse for sure. So there's that. Vladimir Tarasenko has been a actually really good addition for them. It's just, I don't know if that was the move necessarily to make. I mean, he hasn't been a bad player. He could actually be something that they could trade at the trade deadline. They might be able to get a pretty good asset out of that if they retain 50%. Someone could pick up a Tarasenko for $2.5 million, something like that. I feel like Ottawa, with the way that he's playing, now only 6 goals in 25 games. Not ideal, but he is 19 points in 25 games. He's a +7. He's playing good hockey. So someone out there would be interested in him. Matthew Joseph, he's been fine. I know people don't like him right now. And then there's Jake Sanderson. So Jake Sanderson had this excellent start. This kid looked like he could maybe even fuck around and be in the Norris conversation. And now that's really, really trailed off. So it's not out of the norm for a young player to have a hot start and then go completely cold. We see it all the time. So Jake Sanderson's kind of going through that right now. I don't expect him to go pointless for a major long time, and I don't really expect him to get back to necessarily that extremely hot start that he had. I think he's going to find somewhere in the middle here, but 17 points in 27 games, not bad at all. A +2. He's got 5 goals, so Jake Sanderson's still having a great year. It's just that he's definitely trailed off since that extremely hot start. Josh Norris has been playing decent lately. He's got 10 goals in 24 games, 17 points. You would like a little bit more points out of him. I know he's coming back from some injury, but he's not playing bad. And then, it really, really trails off after that. depth scoring. Like after Josh Norris at 17 points, the next highest points is 9 points, and then just listing them off: 9 points, 9 points, 8, 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, 2, 1, and a whole bunch of ones. So it looks like depth scoring might be a little bit of an issue right here for the Ottawa Senators. Obviously, keeping the puck out of the net has been a major issue as well. So I think Craig Berube would be a fantastic fit for the Ottawa Senators. I don't think Jay Woodcroft would be, like he could be. There's a lot of really talented players on the Ottawa Senators, but I think right now they need more structure in their game. They need to protect the net better. And, it's not off to a good start either. They blow a 3 fucking goal lead the other night against the Arizona Coyotes. Man, not every team gets the coach bump, right? Like, not everybody gets to be the St. Louis Blues when they make a coaching change and go win a Stanley Cup. They don't always get to be the Edmonton Oilers and go win fucking 15 of 18 games or whatever. Sometimes it just gets worse, and that might be in the cards for the Ottawa Senators. It really seems like the most Ottawa Senator thing for that to happen, for them just to go completely dead in the water and just drop way down in the standings even further. So we'll see, man. Like, with a loss like that, I can definitely see things going bad, like a 3-goal deficit, or to give up a 3-goal lead. It's not, it's fairly common this in hockey nowadays, but you do not want to start out that way with the new coach. So that sucks for Ottawa. I don't know if it's going to get a lot better. I feel like we might be in for a long, rough season for the Ottawa Senators. Even it's already been rough. So it's probably going to be another year or 2 or 3 or who knows how long until we see the Ottawa Senators back in the playoffs. Oh man, I just want the Battle of Ontario in the playoffs again. Yes, I got it in 2004, and then that was that. Ottawa and Toronto have not been on the same page for a very long time, and it's not going to happen this season either. So that sucks for the Ottawa Senators. Speaking of sucks, things kind of sucked in St. Louis this week, but then they kind of unsucked themselves. So Jordan Kyrou, with some comments about Craig Berube this week, did not go over well with the St. Louis fans. So basically, to sum it up, someone asked Jordan Kyrou about Craig Berube, and he's like, he's not my coach no more. Now, that could have been taken hella out of context, but regardless, St. Louis fans did not like that. They booed the bejesus out of Jordan Kyrou, and then he had an interview after the game, and he was rather upset about it. He shedded some tears in a very passionate interview, saying how much he loved playing for the Blues, and sorry to the fans if the words that came out of his mouth didn't ring very lovely in the ears of the St. Louis Blues fans. He apologized, loved playing in St. Louis, and then he comes out, has a great game, and the crowd is going fucking bananas for him. So, yeah, pretty interesting up and down week, or down and up week for the St. Louis Blues. Honestly, I listened to that interview, and I became a huge Jordan Kyrou fan, man. Like, how can you not love that guy after that interview? Like, I know people, like my wife, if I told my wife that Jordan Kyrou cried, she would hate him for the rest of his life. Like, oh, don't cry on camera, but the dude really put it out there, man. He put his heart on his sleeve in that interview right there, and it felt real, man. It sounds like he really does love playing for St. Louis. He loves being here. He loves the fans, and yeah, there's obviously a lot of pressure on him. Now he's getting paid the big bucks. It's essentially like him and Riley or Thomas's team now. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure on him. He's aware that he's not producing the way that he usually does, and he's feeling that. And the fans gave it to him, and he felt bad. So I have to put a little bit of respect for Jordan Kyrou right there. You know, he definitely, opened my eyes up a little bit. I'm like, oh man, that's a good guy right there. That's a very passionate hockey player, and I got to respect that. So really nice for Jordan Kyrou. Speaking of respect, the Vancouver Canucks have respected Roberto Luongo this week, inducting him into the Ring of Honor. That's awesome, man. And on top of that, Thatcher Demko, or one of the goaltenders whoever played that night, got a shutout in honor of Roberto Luongo. So that's awesome. I know Roberto Luongo is a very polarizing player. I've always liked Luongo. I mean, I feel like too much got put on that poor guy's plate in Vancouver. Making him the captain was just a fucking disaster. Hopefully that never happens ever again. A goaltender should not be the captain of your team. That's a disaster. It went terribly. But the dude has been nothing but a fucking awesome goaltender. A really underratedly funny dude. Like, all I hear about post-retirement is how funny this guy is on Twitter and all that stuff. Now, I don't follow along with that, but that's good, man. It's good to see someone with a nice dry humor and all that. So, really good for Roberto Luongo. Definitely one of the best goaltenders of all time. Really sucks that he never got that Stanley Cup in Vancouver. That would have been awesome. But yeah, there's a long history behind poor Roberto Luongo, man. He's had a hell of a career, and maybe at some point we'll talk in depth about Roberto Luongo, but not right now because we got to talk about the goaltending problems that is going on with Carolina. What the fuck is going on here? So, Antti Raanta, they have had enough. They sent him down. He cleared waivers. No one's picking that up because Antti Raanta has been maybe the worst goaltender in the NHL this season, which I don't say with a lot of positivity. I'm not happy about it. I like Antti Raanta. What a fucking name. And he's been good with Carolina, just not this season, man. Something is going on. Something's in the water with Carolina and the goaltenders. Whatever they're drinking, stop drinking it because the water is tainted in Carolina. I mean, Freddie Anderson, he's skating now, so that's encouraging. Will he come back and play? I mean, I feel like at this point, Carolina might be pushing for that. Like, please play this season. We need you desperately, even though Freddie Anderson hasn't been incredible, but it is Freddie Anderson. So, you know, you would like that back. Peter Kochetkov has taken over the net now. He's okay. He's not having a great season either. Goaltending across Carolina just has not been ideal. I believe now they have signed Aaron Dell to a PTO, so Aaron Dell is here. He has been a backup goaltender in the NHL before, so wouldn't be shocked to see him get into a few games for the Carolina Hurricanes. And yeah, man, they've also called up other goaltenders. I think are they might be the ones that have the other Matt Murray, not the Toronto Maple Leafs, Pittsburgh Penguins Matt Murray, but they're doing shit. That might be Dallas, actually. That's Dallas. My apologies, but yeah, man, it's been a real fucking struggle for Carolina. They're still trying to find consistent success. They're not dead in the water yet, but they're definitely not in the position that they would like to be at this point of the season. Now, some people might say this is good to have some early animosity to your season so that there's some challenges along the way to make your team stronger as you get towards the playoffs. Now, the problem is Carolina still needs to make the playoffs. It's not official yet. They're not in, so they need to get the goaltending under control, because that's been problem number one, like major problem number one. They can't buy a save. They can't get any saves. So if they can figure that out, Carolina should be okay. So if they can get some average goaltending from Aaron Dell, Kochetkov, they need that desperately. So hopefully Carolina can turn it around. Hopefully Antti Raanta can turn it around. The problem is that Carolina doesn't have a AHL team anymore. They don't have one. They used to be with the Chicago Wolves, so that's another major problem with Carolina. They got their prospects and minor league players spread all across the AHL, and it's a disaster. I don't know what is going on with that. They really need to figure that one out. So I think that Raanta ended up with the Chicago Wolves, and he's playing down there, so he's playing. We'll see if he can get it together, kind of like Jack Campbell, but you know, it feels like he's just going to kind of get buried down there, and we're not going to hear a lot about Antti Raanta, but we'll see what's going on there with Carolina. Right now, it has been an absolute disaster for them, goaltending-wise. And another team, the Detroit Red Wings, have also been dealing with goaltending issues this season. So now, well, with some good news, Dylan Larkin has come back. So that's fantastic. Really good to see that he didn't miss an extended amount of time with last week's really scary incident where he was knocked out. So really good to see that Dylan Larkin is back. But now Alex Lyon and Ville Husso are injured. So the Detroit Red Wings have signed Michael Hutchinson, the Hutch Daddy, former Toronto Maple Leaf, to a contract. So we'll see if Michael Hutchinson gets into any games, and it looks like the responsibility is falling on Optimus Rhyme. It's James Reimer time. So there you go. That goes to show you that the teams that are coming into this season with 3 goaltenders have been justified so far. I mean, Husso hasn't been playing up to his contract for the Detroit Red Wings this season, though he has been winning. It's not been pretty. James Reimer has been a pretty solid goaltender for them, and so has Alex Lyon, but now he's hurt. So the conversations a few weeks ago was, oh, hey, will Detroit move one of those 3 goaltenders? James Reimer kind of looked like he would be the outlier, maybe the favorite to get traded, and now he's kind of like the big daddy in Detroit. And yeah, he's going to be a very major piece for them right now. So good for them hanging on to those goaltenders. We'll see how Detroit can do when they get all those goaltenders back. But it has just been a carousel with goaltending this season. And very interesting to see Hutchinson coming back into the league. So that's pretty key. Speaking of pretty cool, let's talk about Connor McFrickin-David for a hot second. So we know this guy has absolutely turned it the fuck on since the coaching change in Edmonton. But there's a pretty wild statistic out there that, McDavid, with his average point streak or his average points per game, where he can generally put up 2 points per game, this guy has the potential to crack 1,000 points this season. Now, he's got a hell of a way to go, but if he continues to put up points the way that Connor McDavid usually does, avoids injuries, stuff like that, we might be talking about Connor McDavid getting very close or even cracking 1,000 points this season. He is on an insane point streak. Well, not a streak, but he is putting up ridiculous amounts of points right now. Let's just go through some of the games. 2 goals, then an assist, 4 assists, a goal and 4 assists, a goal and 2 assists, an assist, 3 assists, goal and assist, 2 assists, goal and assist, an assist, and he was pointless the other game in the New York Islanders, and Edmonton has lost 3 games in a row now, so you gotta stop. You cannot do that. I know it's really easy for teams, once they go on a big ol' winning streak, it's sadly fairly common for them to go on a decent losing streak after that, so Edmonton's got to stop the bleeding right now. You do not want to win 8 games in a row and then lose 4 in a row. That really damages your big winning streak. You don't want to have that happen. And worst of all, you do not want to go on like an 8-game losing streak, which the Buffalo Sabres like to do. They like to go on big winning streaks and then even bigger losing streaks. The Philadelphia Flyers are also guilty of this. So Edmonton desperately needs to get out of this right now. They're kind of struggling to score some goals. They've only had 2 goals in the last 2 games combined. So they got to figure this one out. They got New Jersey coming up next. So, yeah, McDavid's going to need to put up like 4 points in the next game, which he could do against New Jersey. But what do you think? Do you think, is it too crazy for McDavid to be able to hit 1,000 points already? I mean, it's Connor McFrickin-David, man. But he would. If he is to hit 1,000 points, he would have to get 109 more points. So I know it sounds insane, but it's Connor McDavid. The guy put up 153 points last year. So if he can do it. He literally can do it. He has 41 points in 27 games this season. He had a kind of a slow start with a little bit of a rocky middle there, but dude is Super Saiyan level right now, and yeah, man, it's there. It's absolutely there, and it's absolutely insane to me because John Tavares just cracked 1,000 points last week, and he has been in the league for a substantial amount more than Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid has only played 596 games, and he has 891 points. The guy is a freaking mutant. I mean, we should probably get him tested to make sure that he is, in fact, from this planet. But Connor McDavid, do you think he hits 1,000 points career-wise? Not 1,000 points in one season. Don't get crazy now, but 1,000 career points by the end of this season. He may need to, if he's going to get Edmonton out of this hole, he might have to go to a 3 points per game level if he's going to get Edmonton out of the hole and back into a playoff spot, because they're not there yet. Like I said, they lost 4 in a row. they're losing, so they got to get out of it. They're not out of the woods just yet. They're not in a playoff spot anymore, I don't think. So let me just double check right here. No, they're back down in 13th right now, so they got to get out of it. They got to get winning again, and there's other teams that are really hot. Like Nashville's really, really hot right now. Minnesota's playing around. They're okay. Calgary, people still think that Calgary are going to make it. I don't think so, honestly. St. Louis has the coaching change, and yeah, so it's not official just yet. Edmonton still has quite a mountain to climb, but goddamn, when I heard that about Connor McDavid, I damn near shit myself. I'm like, wait, what? 1,000 points already? That is bananas. So good on Connor McDavid. We'll see if he's able to do it. I wouldn't be shocked, but that would be one hell of a feat. One hell of a feat for sure. Speaking of one hell of a feat, Nathan MacKinnon, man, this guy as well has been absolutely destroying the league lately. He is currently on a 15-game point streak. It might be at 16 now, but Jesus, man, Nathan MacKinnon. Let's take a look at this guy. He is one of my favorite players in the league. He is so fun to watch. Love watching this guy play hockey. Yeah, man, he's basically putting up multi-point games every single game right now. He's destroying 4 points against San Jose. Not very shocked about that, but Nathan MacKinnon very fastly climbing his way up the stat sheet. So with that being said, I think it's time we take a look at the league leaders. We haven't done that in a little bit. It's almost the end of December now. We're getting close. So let's take a look at the points leaders. Let's get a checkup on that. So we got points-wise now, we are led by Nikita Kucherov with 54 points. We got the Nathan MacKinnon. Like I said, he is flying up there. He is at 48 points right now. JT Miller has still remained up there for the Vancouver Canucks. Extremely impressive season for JT Miller. David Pastrnak at 43 points. Same with Artemi Panarin, I think he was at the top of the list maybe last time we talked about it, so he's still playing very, very good. He destroyed the Leafs last night. William Nylander, your only Toronto Maple Leaf on the list right here at 41 points. Elias Pettersson still doing very good. And Connor McDavid, who was not on this list last time we did it. He is on the list now. And how much higher is he going to crack the list the next time we talk about it? I feel like he might be at the top. I don't think it would be very shocking to see him in and around the MacKinnon-Kucherov situation the next time we talk about this. Quinn Hughes is your only defenseman on the list. He's still just destroying 41 points. And Mikko Rantanen, after getting called out by Arturi Lekkonen's dad, I think, online, he's been having a fantastic season, so that father can shut the fuck up, respectfully. Goals now. Austin Matthews not playing around anymore, kids. He is leading the league at 25 goals. Brock Besser saying, hold on a minute. I'm not done yet. I got 23 goals, everybody. I'm still having an unreal season. Good for Brock. Nikita Kucherov at 22. Pastrnak making his way up there at 19. Sidney Crosby is on a 50-goal pace right now, 18 goals. Sam Reinhart's killing it, 18. Hyman killing it, 18. Kyle Connor, sadly, is going to start climbing down the list because he's hurt at 17 goals. Panarin, 17. And Philip Forsberg still wrecking it up over there in Nashville, 16 goals. Assist leader, Nathan MacKinnon, 34. Quinn Hughes, Kucherov, 32 apiece. JT Miller, 30. Connor McDavid, 30. Cale Makar at 29. He would probably be in the top points as well, but he does miss a handful of games generally every season. He plays an underratedly hard game, man. Like, that guy does not pussyfoot around. He throws hits. He gets in the corners. He mucks it up. Cale Makar, unreal. So he misses some games every now and again. Noah Dobson, bro. This guy. Fucking love Noah Dobson. I've been singing his praises for years now, and he is finally shutting up the haters, man. This guy has been ridiculous for the Islanders this season. He is essentially assisting on every goal, and good for him. He's been awesome. Philip Hronik as well, getting a lot of apples in Vancouver, and Nylander rounding out the list at 26 assists. Game-winning goals is led by Kyle Connor and Matt Duchene with 5 goals apiece, and then a whole bunch of fours. Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, Philip Forsberg, Pettersson, Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov, William Eklund has 4, and Jimmy Vesey with 4 game winners. There you go, not bad. Plus minus, Quinn Hughes leads the league at a plus 25. That's pretty fucking impressive. Penalty minutes is led by Brady Tkachuk, 74 minutes. That is pretty awesome. Tom Wilson is there. Radkel Gudis. Max Domi is up there. What the fuck, Domi? He can't be getting 48 minutes? That's insane. Now, goaltender stats. Leading in wins is Thatcher Demko at 16 wins. Very impressive. Connor Hellebuck at 15. Same with Gorgiev. Saros, Bobrovsky at 14. Cam Talbot having a fucking awesome season with Los Angeles, 13 wins. Connor Ingram continues to be the most ridiculous goaltender this season, just out of nowhere, fantastic, 12 wins. Shesterkin, 12 wins, not bad, not great. And then Vanacek and Stewart at 11. Shutouts led by Thatcher Demko, Tristan Jarry, and Connor Ingram, 3 apiece. Very, very impressive. Goals against average. Aiden Hill, not a lot of talk about this guy, but he's been phenomenal. 1.93 goals against average right now. Excellent. Talbot at a 2.02. Swayman, 206. Quick, 209. What is going on with Jonathan Quick? Guy is actually outplaying Shesterkin. I don't think anyone in the world saw that one coming. Demko 233, Karaha 2.42, pretty fucking good. Now save percentage, also led by Aiden Hill, 933, tied with Jeremy Swayman, also at a 933, very, very impressive. Jonathan Quick, oh my god, a 926, outstanding. Cam Talbot also at a 926. So Jonathan Quick, he's getting close to hitting some milestones in terms of wins, so it kind of looked like he wasn't going to be able to hit that, but now that he's playing so well with the Rangers, maybe we got a couple extra years here with Jonathan Quick, which would be pretty fucking awesome. So really happy for Jonathan Quick right here. That is excellent. And leading the league in saves right now, believe it or not, it is Jordan Binnington. The guy has been having a good season, man. Even though the Blues haven't been good, Jordan Binnington has maybe been having the best season he's had since he first started with the Blues in 2019. He's doing just fine, I would say. And Sorokin is right there at 663 saves. The guy is getting lit up on a nightly basis. Not really anything that's too important on the other. Power play points, 24 for Nikita Kucherov. I guess that's impressive. 6 shorthanded points for Simon Holmstrom in New York Islanders. I don't know who that is, but that's insanely impressive. Right behind him is another Islander, Jean-Gabriel Pageau. So the Islanders are deadly on the penalty kill. Very impressive right there. So that's your stat leaders for the December 20th. So not bad. We'll see where do we think Connor McDavid finishes the next time we talk about the stats? Is he going to be top 3 or is he going to be number 1? I feel like he's going to be at least top 3, at minimum top 3. So there you go. That's pretty damn cool. So speaking of pretty damn cool, I think it was pretty damn cool what the Toronto Maple Leafs did in Pittsburgh this week. So first game up against the former GM Kyle Dubas, and wow, the Leafs actually beat the living shit out of the Penguins. 7-0. Absolutely suck a dick Dubas right there. Now, I like Kyle Dubas. I really did. I liked him, but that's freaking hilarious, man. I actually felt way worse for Jason Spezza up there every time they showed shots of the press box. I was just looking at Spezza. I'm like, you should have stayed, man. You should have fucking stayed. I love you, Jason Spezza. Crazy. If I told 10-year-old me that you would love Jason Spezza in 2020 and beyond, I'd fucking probably knock myself out. I don't even know, but man, that felt good, man. That felt good. We're usually on the other side of that story with the Toronto Maple Leafs, like, oh, here comes the revenge game, and yep, the Leafs absolutely laid down and got the shit kicked out of them by this guy and that guy, and oh, this guy broke this milestone, yada, yada, yada. But fuck, did it ever feel good to see the Leafs do that to Dubas and for Treliving, like you want to do that for your GM for you guys. Like, I don't know if there's any animosity with the players in Toronto towards Dubas. I have no idea. I don't know if we're ever going to find that shit out until Dubas writes a book one day, but he's very, very young, so he probably won't do that for a while. But yeah, man, that was a good game. I mean, Martin Jones, who saw that coming, like a 38 save shutout, he's been he's been doing it, man. He's been doing just dandy. I mean, he didn't play amazing the other night there against the Rangers, but the Rangers were on a mission to get their revenge on the Leafs, so that was kind of meant to happen. But yeah, man, that was a hell of a fun game for the Leafs on against Pittsburgh, and then they had the most Leaf game ever against Columbus. They went down 5-0, and then of course in the most Leaf way, they tie it up super late. Austin Matthews getting all these goals lately, which has been awesome. And then they lose in overtime. I mean, of course. I mean, people were already like, oh, it's the most guaranteed thing that they're going to lose that game in overtime. But at least it was fun. I didn't bother watching that game when I had access to the game. It was already, I think, 4-0. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to bother. I'm going to take a bubble bath. Probably. I think it doesn't matter. I don't need to tell you what I do with my life. Anyway, it was a up and down week this week for the Leafs, but I think it's okay. There has been a flu bug going through the team right now. They're playing excellent hockey. They're winning a bunch of games. They have an excellent record over the last 15 games. They're winning a lot of games. I think it's just because the league as a whole is a little bit tighter this year, and maybe the Leafs aren't dominating and they're not having these incredible numbers that you would want out of a team that's in the tops of the league. I just think overall with the extreme cap crunch that we have in this league, that everyone's struggling a little bit. Teams aren't taking off like we saw last season in the standings, like the Bruins and shit, even though the Bruins are doing very well in the Vegas is doing really well, but I think this year it's a little bit more balanced, and that's why we're not seeing crazy statistics. But there's one really interesting statistic that my buddy Kyle sent me. This was from earlier in the week, but I'll read it off. So while 12 of their 25 games have got to overtime, 11 of those 25 games have seen the Leafs blow a multi-goal lead or come back from one. That in itself is crazy. What is absolutely nuts is that they are undefeated in those games. You don't need to be well-versed in advanced stats to realize that if you go down 2 goals or if you blow a 2-goal lead, that you usually lose the game. Pretty much every time you lose that game, unless you are the 2023 Toronto Maple Leafs. As of December 12th, the Leafs are 7-0-4 in games in which they either blow or come back from a 2 or more goal lead. In games they blow a 2-goal lead, they are 3-0-1. In games where they come back from down 2 or more, they are 4-0-3. There are only 2 other games where they were down by 2 goals before halfway through the third period and failed to come back. So that is a very cool stat, but it's not one that I love. It's great that the Leafs are able to come back. They generally play their best hockey when they're down. When it's crunch time, it's like, all right, let's go full offense. That's when they shine, right? But that in history has never been the winning recipe in playoff hockey. We saw it in Columbus where they wanted to try and go down as many goals as possible and then try to make these insane comebacks. Yeah, it worked twice. In a probably 1 percentile chance of that happening, they did it twice, which is insane. For them to replicate that again is fucking bananas, and they're doing it this regular season, which comebacks are a lot more prone to happen. In the playoffs, not so much. That shit does not happen in the playoffs on a regular basis. So I hope the Leafs aren't, banking on this stat like, oh, we're a great comeback team. It's not a good idea to go down in playoff games. What's one of the most what's the one stat they talk about almost the most in playoffs? It's whoever scores first wins the games and stuff. That's super important. Score first, and the Leafs don't really like to do that. They don't like to. They like to play from behind, man, and it's not a good way to play. It's a fun way to play. It's fun to watch. The Leafs come back a whole bunch, and it's pretty refreshing now when I get to a second period and it's like, Leafs are down 3-0. I could still watch this, and there's a very good chance they're going to come back and make it interesting. But again, like, it's just, that's not the team I want going into the playoffs. I don't want that mentality that, like, oh, it's okay if we go down. It's like, no, that's not a good mentality to have. I want you guys to have the lead and hold it. And they don't show that to me very often. Like, they did it in Pittsburgh where they can play with a lead and hold on to it confidently, but that's the kind of hockey you need to get comfortable playing as, and the Leafs just don't. So it's been better lately. They're playing with more snot, as people like to call it. They're getting into scrums. Like, Legason has been. I like that player. I like what's the other guy's name? Gregor, whatever the fuck. I don't know. Been good, man. Like, I am liking the way that the Leafs are playing right now. Stars are playing well. Marner's putting in goals. He looks confident but angry at the same time. This is like a weird hybrid Marner right now. I mean, he just. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Marner. He's a great player. It's just, I don't like him as a person. He just annoys the hell out of me. It's just something about him. But yeah, thankfully, it's been good. It's just something that extremely concerns me, why I can't really get overly excited about the regular season anymore, because I know these things are going on. I've seen the Leafs play for so long, and yeah, I mean, wins are coming, but they're not coming in the right way, and that's something that Keith, the coach, has been trying to get into their heads for years now, and it still just doesn't seem to be ringing true in their heads. So I don't know. At some point, hopefully we start seeing the Leafs get the lead, hold the lead, and that's it. I wouldn't be angry if they started playing some boring hockey. I think that's what the Leafs need a little bit. Win a game fucking 2-1 and go up 2-0 8 minutes into the game, and then just hold it for 2.5 periods. Give me that more often. That's what I want for Christmas out of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, in terms of the Calgary Flames, I would have loved for them to hastily make a deal with Tanev to the Toronto Maple Leafs for like a fifth, but they don't want to do that. God damn it. So, Calgary, they're not in a rush, they said, to trade Tanev. Now, he is injured right now, so that's also going to slow down the process, but yeah, so they're not in any rush to trade him to the Toronto Maple Leafs. We all know that's where he's fucking going, goddammit. So they're going to prolong this for as long as possible to try and get the most out of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So it's fine. It's fine for Calgary to make a deal with your enemy, the Vancouver Canucks. Oh, here, just take Zadorov. We'll wrap him up. We'll send him over. And then the Leafs are like, hey, can we have Tanev? Like, no, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. So now that might be because they have Treliving and they don't want to give him what he wants. And then the Leafs find success. And yeah, it's going to not look good for them, but I get it. I'm a Calgary Flames fan, and I'm a little angry, obviously, that they're doing this, but it's the right thing to do, right? You don't, like, again, I don't think they're going to draw that much extra value out of Tanev. I don't think he's that valuable. I feel like they're trying to get, like, I think the asking price right now is like a second, and they're going to try and push that to a first, which I think the Leafs would be insane to give him a first, honestly. That's way too much. Even though they do claim to be very, very confident that they could re-sign Tanev, I don't really want them to, unless it's 1 or 2 years. Tanev has been a career injury bug, man. Like, yeah, he had a couple of good, healthy years in Calgary, but you look at the rest of his career, dude's never healthy. So it's a risky play. Very similar, I feel like, to Muzzin when they gave him money and term, when it was like, okay, this guy's like really hurt all the time, and what are we doing here? And yeah, that went terribly. So I hope they don't make the same mistake with Tanev. I hope they don't overpay and then give him too much money in a contract and it just goes bad. So we'll see how that one goes with the Calgary Flames. And also with the Flames, I want to shout out Mackenzie Weegar, man. Mackenzie Weegar is having a fucking good year for the Calgary Flames right now. He's hit career highs in goals already this season, so he's putting pucks in the net, he's getting points, he's playing well, and he's been a really good addition to the blue line for the Calgary Flames. And I don't think there's any reason that they would trade him right now. If there was an offer for him, I think the Flames should take it. I don't think he's even like in talks right now. I don't think there's anyone really talking about Mackenzie Weegar and adding him. The contract is really scary. It's super long term. Yeah, he's playing great right now, but you got to think about those last 3-4 years, right? So at least it's working out really well for Mackenzie Weegar this season. He's, I would say, the best Flames defenseman, which is great. And Kadri's leading them in points, which is also great. It's not a lot of points. Sadly, Huberdeau is still just forgotten how to play hockey, which is horrible, man. Like, the guy is just goose egg after goose egg after goose egg. Like, how is this guy not putting up anything? It's shocking to me. It's really, at this point, it is almost depressing to see this happen to a player this drastically. Like, it really is a shame to see this going down. Like, even Gaudreau's putting up points now in Columbus. So, I mean, fuck, man, this Huberdeau thing is just getting out of hand. Hopefully it turns around at some point. Maybe he has a nice Merry Christmas, gets a nice fucking, I don't know, a delicious holiday ham and some turkey, I don't know, have a nap, and come back and score 700 points for the Flames. Please, for the love of God. For the love of God, find your game, Huberdeau, for Christmas. That's what I want. I think I might want, what do I want more for Christmas? Fucking Toronto Maple Leafs to play a full 60 minutes and hold on to a lead, or for Huberdeau to get his game back. Whew. That is a tough one. I might want Huberdeau to get his game back. I don't know. I have been asking for the Leafs to hang on to a lead for about 15 years now, so, I mean, that's an eternal itch that's been needing some scratching. So, okay, maybe I'll go with the Toronto Maple Leafs lead. Maybe next year, Huberdeau, I'll ask Santa to bring you some talent back. No offense, but like, fuck, man. It's been Space Jam levels of talent absorption, and it's just gone. I don't know what happened. So, is Space Jam 3 getting filmed, and it's like a hockey movie now, and Huberdeau is the culprit? I don't know. Anyway, I think that's all I really want to talk about. Oh, wait, hold on. There's one more thing concerning the Minnesota Wild over here. So, assistant GM Chris O'Hearn has left the team. Now, there is an investigation going on, 2 investigations, in fact, going on around the conduct behind Bill Guerin and the Minnesota Wild. As far as I know, nothing has come out of that we know of. All we know is that Chris O'Hearn, kind of in a shocking way, has left the team. He was Bill Guerin's right-hand man and all of these big moves and things that they've been doing with the Wild, and now he's gone. So I don't know if we're ever going to learn what happened there, but that's unfortunate. You don't want to see someone just leave like that, but we don't know what happened. So that's been going on. Also, a couple of injuries that I forgot to talk about. Patrick Laine is going to be out for 6 weeks with a broken clavicle. Poor freaking guy, man. Patrick Laine, just, man, I just want him to score 40 consistently, god damn it, but it's just not coming. Yeah, okay, so I think that's everything now that I want to talk about. That's everything that I gotta get. Yep, sounds good. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for listening. You guys are awesome. Or watching, if you're watching these on YouTube. I upload all these episodes to the Gamer GX Videos YouTube channel, so you can go over there, watch them, listen to them, drop a comment, leave a like. If you want to leave a question for the podcast related to hockey, wrestling, video games, general questions, drop them, send in an email, leave a comment on YouTube. I would love to, carve out a little time in the podcast to answer some questions for y'all. That would be a ton of fun. And yeah, I am coming down with some sickness right now. You might not, I feel like I powered through this one pretty good, pretty drugged up right now. So, we're doing that. So hopefully it doesn't affect the upcoming episodes. I will be doing a review of Hogwarts Legacy for the GX GamerCast this week, so there's that incoming. WrestleCast will be on a regular schedule. I don't think there's any major pay-per-views this week, so just a regular recap. And yeah, next week, I'm hoping that I should be able to do my X's, my video game awards, where I'm giving out a whole bunch of awards over the course of the 2023 year, all the games that I played. It is going to be a ton of fun, so I cannot wait to do the Xyz GamerCast episode. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. And yeah, so there you go, everybody. Thank you again so much for listening. Review the podcast, please, and thank you. It helps me out a ton. Leave a question. That would be awesome. Follow along on Twitter. Subscribe on the YouTubes and all that great stuff. And we will be back again soon with more GX Plus Cast.